Hi guys. Uh, didn't think I'd be back so soon, did you? Here I am. This is a postscript to the start to finish analysis, sketch, painting I just did of St. Bartholomew's in New York. One topic I wanted to talk about that comes up a lot when I talk to painters of all stages, whether they're full-on professionals or beginners or hobbyists, and that topic is signing your work. What are your takes on signing your work? If I had to choose a word, I'd say yes. I think it's a good idea. If you intend to, if you just do it for your own pleasure and stash it away, it's fine. Obviously, if you're going to enter it in competitions, typically in the old days, I think you weren't really allowed to sign your work if you entered it into a competition because jurors didn't want to be swayed by the name of an artist if they knew them. Nowadays, I think those sort of conventions are relaxed a bit, and when I jury shows, most of the paintings are signed, and that to me is fine. I think today in the age of the internet, if you do post your work at all and it isn't signed, you're running the risk of somebody more easily stealing it and claiming it as their own, which happens all the time, but that's another topic. Anyhow, if you choose to sign your work, people ask me, is it good to always do it in the lower right, the lower left? I think it doesn't matter. I think it does matter only in terms of if you add anything to your painting, that's a compositional element that you're adding. So I have signed works in the middle sometimes, or at the top, rarely to be honest. Within the body of the painting, it depends on the kind of painting. This is a somewhat conventional landscape format, horizontal format, urban scene. So signing the painting along the bottom somewhere seems most comfortable. I think, yes, your signature is a component compositionally of your work, so you do need to think about it. But my taste is that I like my signature to be smaller and more discreet than I used to. I look at a lot of my older work, which is sort of the theme of the day, and I think my signature was too florid, too big, too much. It was just another instance where I used a component of my painting in a less than discreet way, and it looked out of place. That said, let me look how I signed this painting 10 years ago. Yeah, I signed it here in the lower right. My instinct on this one says the signature would fit either way, but I'd be tempted to sign it in the lower left, and I'm not certain if that's just my more modern convention or habit, or compositionally I think it would fit better against the heavier, darker part of the painting than against the lighter. So I think I will sign it here. I typically use a very, very small round brush, a 0 or a number 1 or 2 if you have one. It is personal taste, but I do think your signature should be as discreet as you can make it. And I mean, you don't want to deny it. You don't want to pretend you're not proud of it, but you don't want it to overwhelm the work either. Almost always I sign my work in sort of a brick red, a terracotta red, if you will. This is a light red by Holbein. I use this 0 round brush, and pretty opaque, very little water, so that I can add it as if script. And I don't know if it matters. I always sign my name the same, just my first initial and last name. People use initials. Some people use symbols that they have made or make themselves. So that's entirely personal and up to you how you like to do it. I like to write it in rather than print it, although it is, the way I write is essentially printing, so it's splitting hairs. But I think in my paintings, they almost always look better if they're done in a warm color rather than cool for some reason. Though I know painters that sign in teal and blues and greens, and there really is no right answer. I would say consistency matters a little bit, so if you find a way that works for you, maybe stick with it. I think you have to size it to fit with your overall look of the painting. So a larger painting could probably handle a larger signature. This is a mid-size painting, so my signature is on the smaller side. I hope it's discreet enough, but yet legible. And then should you date your work? I don't. I never do. Sometimes I wish I did on the reverse, on the back. I wish in pencil or something I would sometimes sign the date on my work, but I made the decision years ago not to, and so I don't. Also, if you're a member of any, signature member of any watercolor society, should you write that next to your name? I don't know what to say there. I think that, again, is a choice. I don't do that because just it's not that I'm immodest so much, or modest, it's just that it would elongate the name. My last name is somewhat long to begin with. So if I add yet more letters, it just looks too much. So I choose not to. And yeah, I'm always happy and available to argue and talk about this or any other topic. But I did want to bring up the signature. I get asked a lot how I handle it, how I do it, what I think is best. And again, just to reiterate, I think your signature, if you choose to use it, is a compositional element, part of your painting, just like the trees, in this case, the light, the dark, the building itself, the place, the figures. They're all part of the composition, and so is your signature. So it should look as if it belongs to that painting. I've done paintings that are more drawing-based, less watercolor, more drawing, and in those cases I'll often sign it with a pencil rather than watercolor. Other than that, I always use my first initial, last name, just a convention I started and I'm happy with. But make it yours, make it personal, and I think if you find one you like, stick with it, and you can't go wrong. All right, thanks again. See you soon.